Hello everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel, welcome back to another episode. I'm still getting used to wearing glasses. I've got a new set of clears. You know what? I have been buying so many different sets of glasses. I think, you know, when you're in lockdown and you kind of go online, you just end up getting more stuff. And obviously this is new. I've recently needed glasses. Well, probably needed glasses for a little while, but I've recently admitted to needing them and had the test. And I've kind of gone a bit wild. I'm going to show you another set in a second, but welcome back to the channel. This episode is going to be talking about something to do with intelligence. Maybe, I don't know if I look intelligent like this, but this video, no, forget that. I should cut that out, shouldn't I, really? This video, I'm going to be talking about exams during lockdown, revising during lockdown, being productive doing work. The reason I'm going to talk about this is I've just had to go through revising for, preparing for, and sitting an exam for GP practice. As many of you will have heard and seen from my previous videos, I'm going to move into general practice after the pandemic because it suits a lot of the things I want to do, particularly around focusing on mental health and prevention rather than just cure. Before we jump into all that stuff, I want to say thank you to everyone so much for your support. You've been absolutely amazing since the appointment, as my appointment as being Youth Mental Health Ambassador. I cannot be more grateful for the support that I have had. You know, I truly just want to be a voice for young people. Of course, there's so many amazing experts out there which I'll be working with. I've been speaking to a lot of experts across the field, but it's so important that young people are represented in that and their voices get through too, and that's what my role is. You know, I'm independent of the government, I'm not in a paid position, I'm there objectively to give a voice for you guys. But anyway, onto this video ahead, I'm going to be talking about exam prep, how to get the most out of your revision, how to prepare for exams, and how to do it during lockdown when you're spending a lot of time inside and sometimes it's hard to motivate yourselves. Before we start the video, this video is sponsored by Skillshare. Many of you will see me mentioning Skillshare previously. It's an organisation, a website. You can whack it into Google and have a look, which has a huge number of videos, courses, information, guidance, resources for people who are creative and curious. I actually originally found Skillshare when I was looking about how to edit. So obviously I record on my camera and I need to edit on my Mac. I've got my computer here and I use Final Cut Pro, and it's an amazing app, Final Cut Pro, or device, not device, it's amazing software. See, this is how good I am. So, amazing piece of software on there, but it's not the easiest thing to learn to do. I went on Skillshare. Ali Abdal, who's a doctor as well as a creator, has done an amazing series of videos about how to edit. I found that so useful. But whatever you're interested in, animation, film, music, whatever it is, they've got so many videos, thousands and thousands and thousands of videos and lessons and courses. So check them out on there. If you click the link down below, the first 1,000 people get a free trial of the Skillshare Premium membership, and after that it's around $10 a month. Well worth checking out, guys. Very useful and handy during lockdown as well, gives you something to focus on. And yeah, I found it great. I keep using it, and big shout out to Ali Abdal on there. You're absolutely epic and your videos have helped me, and hopefully they're getting better. As promised, I'm going to show you quick my other set of glasses. What do you think? Which are better? Okay, right, these, which you've obviously seen, I've been wearing them, or these. These ones are different. What do you reckon? It's like a new thing, isn't it? It's glasses. Anyway, sorry, I'm rambling. That is not the purpose of this video, and that's not why you're here. So let's get cracking and talk about how you can prepare for your exams. Come on. First point I want to make. We all learn differently, and that's the first thing I want to say, and the first most important thing to realise before you start preparing for an exam, or before you start revising, or you approach learning in general and gaining knowledge. We all learn in a different way, and what works for one person might be different for other people, but the key is looking and learning the different tips and tricks and finding what works for you. So some of the stuff I say, you think, well, actually that'll work for me. Other things might not, but it's actually really useful to know what doesn't work as much as it is as what does work, because ultimately you don't want to waste your time. There's nothing worse than sitting there and staring at a piece of paper and going, this isn't working for me, I've wasted hours of time. But if you know that's not going to work, then do something different. My first tip is why. Understanding the why is so important when you're revising for exam, because ultimately, if you're not fully invested and you don't really believe in the reason you're sitting down and revising, it's very, very hard to actually motivate yourself. So when I was approached a situation where I was like, look, I've got an exam in 7 or 8 weeks, a general practice exam, I had to think, why am I doing this? And the reason I'm doing this is because I really would like to enter a career in GP. I think the training will be good for me, and you know, it's the right kind of steps for me. So I kind of clearly outlined in my head why I was doing it. So if you've got a GCSE exam, or you've got A levels, or you've got university, think about what the reasons are, what your motivators are, and write them down. Sometimes it's great to put it down in writing and go, well, actually, I'm revising for this exam because hopefully it'll get me a place at university, or I need to do this exam to get my A levels to go on to university. Whatever it is, whatever you're doing, why? Why are you doing it? That is the first tip, because ultimately if you can motivate yourself and go, do you know what, I really want to do this, I want that job, or I want to go to university there, or my dream place to study is here, then that will motivate you so much to do your work. My second tip is plan. Plan and map out how you're going to approach that exam or test or deadline. If you know that my scenario, I was 6 weeks ahead, right, 6 weeks time, I've got this exam, that's how much time I've got. Right, when do I revise? How do I fit it in? How much have I got to learn? So before you sit down and kind of open the book and go, right, let's start revising, let's go, knowing how much you need to know, what is in the exam, when is it, how long is the exam, is it a marathon of an exam, a 5-hour exam, is it a short one? What is my strategies? What resources out there? There's so much pre-planning that you should do before you start revising, and that allows you to optimize. And even so, if you're trying to take into account your learning methods, if you remember at the start I said, understanding how you learn is very important. So, for me, when I was preparing for my GP exam, I knew that for me, the worst thing I can do is sit down and read books. If I sit down and try and revise like this, I get bored very quickly. I like to be kind of stimulated in that way. I like to be challenged, and I enjoy the idea of actively learning. So I knew that good ways for me to learn would be videos, so utilising YouTube or online resources, and secondly, doing practice questions or exam questions. There's lots of banks you can use when you're revising for medical school, same as any other kind of thing. I was using MCQ Bank or Past Medicine, and basically the question formats that ask you questions with answers that you choose, and from that it reveals not only the correct answer, but the key things you need to learn about that. So I therefore was able to plan effectively. So I know if I've got 6 to 8 weeks, this is how many questions I want to do each night, this is how much time I need to spend. It gives me clear goals. There's nothing worse than going, right, I've got 6 weeks in exam, let's sit down, open the book or whatever, and just sit there and revise, because you feel lost, you feel kind of aimless. So what I would say to you, key tip, plan. How much do you need to learn? What do you need to know? What resources will work for you? And how long is it going to take you to learn it? Excuse my handwriting, but separate work from play. I think this is a really key element in being successful in your revising, and making sure ultimately that you keep that time, that you're revising apart from, your social time and your chilling time. I know it's more difficult in lockdown. It's something you have to kind of adapt. And the reason I'm sat here talking to you is because this is where I do most of my revising from. Sometimes I sit on the couch, do a couple of questions when I'm being a bit naughty, but I try my best to spend my time working here, because ultimately, if you don't have clear boundaries between the two, you don't really feel that when you're relaxing, and you don't feel that when you're working, you're truly being dedicated. And often it's easy just to watch the TV, etc. So in your flat, in your house, or at home, or at university, have your desk where you sit down, you've got your books in front of you, you've got your water there, bottle of water, I got a glass here, good for hydration is key, ready to go, and you sit there and you work. And when you work, you work. The next part of that is making sure that when you relax, you relax. And what I mean by that is if you're going to do an hour a night, or you've got your 50 questions that you want to do, or your 2 resources that you're going to learn, once you do that, put it all away, put it aside, and go to your chill spaces. Go for your walk, get outside, whatever it's going to be, but separate work from play. My next tip, and a very important tip, move. Very important. The reason that I say this is because if you move, if you get outside, you get exercise, you get fresh air, you're much more likely to be successful in what you're learning. The worst thing you can do is sit down at a desk for 3 hours at a time, because your productivity is going to go out the window. Most studies think that we have about 15 to 20 minutes, maybe 30 minutes, where we're really concentrating one go. After that, your productivity goes boom. So making sure that you get up and move is really important. I actually do little mini breaks. So I would do 20 minutes of questions maybe, going away. Then I'd stand up, walk around the flat a bit, walk upstairs, whatever, have a glass of water, takes 2 or 3 minutes, sit down and work. And every so often, I would take a proper break. So, I would usually spend no more than an hour and a half, I think, when I was preparing for this exam, revising one go. Partly because I have a lot of other commitments, and also because I knew that was the most I could really concentrate on it. And once I'd done that kind of period of time, I'd get up and I'd move properly. So I'd go outside, have a good walk, clear your head, bit of natural light as well, ideally if you can walk in the daytime, and you find that way, once you finish revising, you can properly chill out, and it also feels like there's some sense that things settle in your head a bit. At least that's how I feel. But move is very important. Don't sit still too long. Get up, walk around regularly, and sit back down, revise a bit, and make sure when you've finished your session, you try and get some fresh air. My next tip, and probably not a very surprising one, exercise. Exercise is great for your learning, your revising, your preparation. The reason is that physiologically, when you exercise, there's an increased blood flow to the brain, which is good for your focus and your concentration. There's a release of endorphins. We know that after you exercise, you get that boost of energy, that boost of mood, and you feel that real focus, which is brilliant for revising. And some people find that if they get up in the morning, they do an exercise session, they have a shower, have breakfast, by the time they sit down to do their work, the mind is focused. Obviously still move afterwards, obviously have your walk around, but you'll find that exercise really benefits. Other people find they like to exercise after they revise, and that's absolutely fine, but do not ignore the benefits of exercise. It definitely makes a difference. Next tip is celebrate. And I don't mean celebrate the results as they come in after you've smashed the exam, which you will. What I mean is celebrate your small victories. Now, when I sit down and do my work, I like to tick it off on my phone or write down what I've done so that each day you can look at it and go, yes, I'm making progress, because it's easy to feel like, oh, I'm fed up, especially in lockdown. You think, oh gosh, I'm not doing anything else. Gosh, I haven't done that much work. You need to celebrate those victories, pat yourself on the back because you're doing a good job. You are doing a great job. It's not easy revising these scenarios, but by doing that little bit, by chipping away, you're more likely to do better in an exam. Every bit of knowledge you're gaining is helpful, so tap yourself on the back. My final preparation tip is mindset. Getting yourself in the right mindset leading up to the exam is vital. It's one of the biggest components of doing well in the exam. You need to tell yourself that you're going to do well. And I'm going to tell you a story. When I used to sit my exams at med school, I used to pretend I was Gregory House. If anyone's watched House, the series, it's amazing. If you haven't, you need to. It's awesome. And I used to pretend I was House when I sat down. Not in an ego sense, being like, oh, I'm literally amazing. But I had that focus of like, I can do this. I can really do well in this scenario. And when I was revising, I had the mindset of, come on, like imagine your House, you're learning all this stuff, you're going to be really, really good. Have a positive mindset, because if you approach things with negativity, you think, oh gosh, this exam's going to be so hard, that will that'll come to fruition. You need to believe truly that you're going to do well and have that mindset, have that focus, and you find that when you go to that exam, you will do well. So those are my main tips leading up to the exam. Now, when you come up to the day before and you're going to be sitting the exam the next day, make sure you don't cram. Your day before the exam, in my experience, should be spent relaxing, chilling out, exercising, getting good sleep the night before, avoiding caffeine the night before. On the day of the exam, make sure you don't hammer the caffeine, because actually what you often find, if your exam is more than a couple of hours long, you get a big rise in energy and you get a slump. And the same with things like sweets. If you have loads of sugar in the exam, you get these energy rises and falls. Have some good carbs beforehand, so like a bowl of cereal or some pasta that gives you that steady energy, and bring loads of water into the exam. Drink plenty of water. And when you go into that exam room, again, you're going to do well, you're going to smash it. Be positive and you find you'll do so much better. Guys, I hope this video has been useful. They're just some of my tips that I've kind of used. Make sure you kind of work out what learning styles suit you. Are you someone that likes to sit and read and you read things that really helps? Are you someone that likes to write notes, which is absolutely fine as well? Or are you someone like me who likes to sit and answer questions and finds that engagement drives learning? Work out what's good for you, create that plan of action, make sure you move, make sure you exercise, look after yourself, get some good sleep, and make sure the mindset's correct. Don't forget to hit the link below, guys. Check out Skillshare. I think it's a brilliant site. I've been using these guys for ages and they're really, really good. A reminder again, the first 1,000 people will get a free trial of the Skillshare Premium membership. So give that a go as well. Guys, thank you so much. Subscribe to the channel if you enjoyed it. Let me know if this video is useful, and best of luck to everyone who's doing exams right now. You are awesome. Take care and goodbye.